Hello, hello. How are you? How's your first? It's actually the last weekend of May, right? And it's the first day of June 2025. How do you feel? So fast, it's already June. All right, now welcome back to Ask Jason Anything About Facebook Ads. This is Jason from Malaysia. I'm a Meta Ads optimization strategist. If this is the first time you see me, welcome to my universe. What I do here is I go live every Sunday night to answer questions about Meta Ads optimization, uh, whereby usually what I get is the questions that I get from my community. As in, if you have any questions regarding meta advertising, the first thing I will recommend you to do is please head over to my YouTube channel. I've posted over 1,000 videos on my YouTube channel, mainly answering questions like this. Chances are I probably have covered something similar to the challenge that you're facing right now. Now, if you can find an answer, great. Move on and do whatever you need to do, because there are a ton of things we need to do, or a ton of things we need to deal with when it comes to meta advertising. So move on. And whenever you have any questions, again, come back. But if you cannot find an answer to your question, all you need to do is just post your question as a comment on any of my YouTube videos. And what I'm going to do is on the following Sunday at 10 p.m. Malaysia time, I will screenshot your question and I will bring it up over here in a live session here. Usually it's about like 30 minutes, sometimes more, sometimes less. Really depends on the number of questions I get. And I'll be answering your questions live like this. Okay. So if you have any questions, feel free to pop your question at all. And I look forward to work with you. Now, just in case you need something faster, and you say that, Jason, can I have something that is quicker? Can I ask you a question real quick? And can I get you to review my campaign? Can I get you to check my ad creative and copywriting and my strategy before I launch the campaign? Yes, I do offer a one-on-one meta ad support. This is through email. It's called Jason on Demand. So scan this QR code, you'll be able to enroll. It's a monthly subscription. You can subscribe and you can cancel anytime. Mainly, this is a place or like a platform or like a membership program rather, for you to ask questions directly to me, and I will reply in a video format. So if you ask me any questions, I will reply. If I need to go into the ads manager to do a walkthrough on certain things, I will walk you through and everything, and I will send it over to you as a reply. Now, if you send me your ad creative, if you send me your ad copywriting, I will review them in a video format, and I'll probably show you some examples of things that are doing better based on my experience, so that you can actually cut short the learning curve on your end. And of course, the best part is a lot of my subscribers at the moment actually use it to get me to review their meta ads campaign virtually. So all you need to do is just give me view only access to your ad account, and I'll be going into your ad account to review your campaign, and I will put together a recording to tell you what are the things that I recommend in terms of optimization, what are the things that you should consider tweaking and stuff like that. So that's Jason on Demand. It's a one-on-one meta ad support, and you don't need to go on Zoom with me. It's just send over a question, and I'll address the question and send over a video reply within 24 hours or less. Okay, so that's how it works. If that's something that you're looking for, scan this QR code, and I look forward to work with you. Now, just in case you need something further, I do offer one-on-one meta ads coaching, whereby you and I will work together to draw a plan to take your campaign to the next level. So this is useful whether you are, let's say, for example, a few situations, right? One is you have been running ads on your own and you've been seeing some traction, but you want to take it to the next level, but you can't seem to find a very solid scaling strategy for your business or for your ad campaign. You want me to come in and analyze the whole structure that you have. Maybe we need to structure the campaign, or maybe we want to draw out a different kind of scaling plan for your campaign to take your campaign to the next level. So that's something that you're looking for. Then scan this QR code. Every month I take a handful of clients where we will work together. This is also a very fluid subscription, but this is different. This is you and me work together on a weekly basis, one-on-one. We will meet at least once a week to go through the campaign, to go through the optimization options, and to discuss, to strategize and stuff. So yeah, it's very much on one-on-one. So yeah, that's when you're scaling. On the other side, if you have been trying to set up your campaign and run ads, but you can't seem to find a very stable and structured way to take it to the next level, that is also something that we can work together. So this is mainly a done with you program, where you and I are going to really design a strategy and implement right away. But the main purpose of this, aside from getting you results right away, is to help you master the whole thing. It actually involves a lot of knowledge transfer with the aim of one day, I want you to be able to do this on your own. So that's the whole idea of my Any coaching program. So if that's something that you're looking for, scan this QR code and I look forward to work with you. Now, on the other side, like if you just want to come in and learn meta advertising on your own, you're getting started, you don't have a lot of budget on it, it doesn't matter. It's okay. Okay. I have a Meta Ads Blueprint 2025. So this is a 4.5 hour recorded training to help beginners or even seasoned advertisers to get hold of what are the latest best practices in meta advertising. So I would share with you what are the latest tools and features you want to take advantage on. Aside from that, I would share with you how do I design meta ad strategy for e-commerce, for lead gen, or even if you're selling on marketplaces like Shopee and Lazada, I have that as well. And I don't just share with you how do I design the strategy. I will walk you through how I set up the campaign, how do I set up my top of funnel, how do I set up my retargeting according to the strategy that I built for the campaign. So that's something that you really want to learn and start implementing on your own. So getting started with the advertising is just the first step. And the next thing we want to talk about is how do we analyze the campaign? What is the analytics framework that I use? And what is the scaling and optimization framework that I use to take your campaign to the next level? So that's something that I also discuss heavily in Meta Ads Blueprint 2025. So that's something that you're looking for. Scan this QR code, and once you go through once you purchase, then you can start learning right away. There is no waiting needed. So if that's something that you are looking for, scan this QR code, and I look forward to work with you, and happy learning. All right, now let's go through some of the questions I get. Today, we don't have a lot of questions from YouTube channel, but we have some questions that I think is quite interesting. Mainly, those are the questions that I received from my JSON On Demand community. So I was thinking maybe I should just come over and bring it up for a discussion. It's quite interesting to talk about. Now, the first question is coming from Shopper Maniac. So Shopper Maniac is asking, the main question about this is you're saying that you are, like you set up a purchase, like a purchase. Wait, let's see. You track purchase after checkout, and buyer will be sent to the thank you page in a different URL. And then you create a purchase event for thank you page. And then you have two URL. Yes, one, you have the main sales page and the thank you page. So your question is, will you use the sales objective using objective for thank you page, but URL destination is at? Yes, that's totally the logic, because when you choose your objective for your sales campaign, you definitely want to choose purchase. And if you have already set up purchase in your thank you page, that's the best practice, then definitely you want to optimize for that. But optimized URL, okay, and the destination URL are totally different. Of course, you have a sales page and you have a thank you page. But having said that, you want to make sure that these two URLs are from the same domain. It's, the best practices is if you are from the same domain, then you will not have, like misattribution and all these kind of like the journey is being broken kind of issue. But if you are not having the same URL, let's say the destination page is abc.com and the thank you page is efg.com/thank-you, then it's a little bit tricky. But having said that, you can still like optimize for that, but you need to monitor, because we need to make sure that if there is any bug in between. But of course, we have to actually keep the campaign up and running first before we can analyze that. So if you even now you have two URL, you can still install the same pixel to it, but you need to make sure that you're optimizing for both. So you definitely want to optimize for the thank you page, and you want to use, but my best practice is if they can come from the same URL. But having said that, it's a valid strategy, of course. We cannot be just sending people to the thank you page and optimize for the thank you page. It doesn't make sense. So we definitely want to send people to the landing page, and Meta is smart enough and brilliant enough to be able to track the customer journey. So it's really important for us to start tracking the customer journey. Like you want to know how many of them actually landed on your landing page from the number of clicks that you receive, and how many of them actually added to cart, how many of them initiated checkout, and how many of them ended up buying as a customer. So this is something that when you have MetaPixel installed and plotted out across your website and events, you'll be able to have a very holistic journey about how your audience move from one step to another. And this is a place where we can actually look for optimization strategy, because you just imagine if I have a lot of landing page, say I have 100, and I only get 5 people started to initiate checkout. So that means my landing page may not be doing a good job in getting people to take action. So I probably want to optimize changing the color and stuff like that. But having said that, there are a lot of possibilities that we can do when it comes to after the click optimization. So if that's something that you're actually looking at, I would recommend that you actually set up the campaign, okay, and then let it run for another while. Then you can consider joining my Meta Ads one-on-one Meta Ads support, Jason On Demand, whereby this is a place where you can actually get me to come in and review your campaign virtually or remotely, and like to look at your entire setup, if there's anything to check whether your pixel is tracking correctly and all that, and to send it over to you with an optimization plan in a video format. So yeah, that allows you to really understand whether you are doing it right, and also having a better plan on how to optimize your campaign and take it to the next level. But having said that, please start running ads first. Without that, we won't be able to have any data to look at and to talk about optimization. Okay, so if that's something that you're looking for, then scan this QR code, and I look forward to work with you. Now, this is a very interesting question. When it comes to Meta Ads scaling, I actually have two types of Meta Ads scaling strategy. One is, vertical scaling, and the other one is horizontal scaling. Now, this is really something that is really quite common, but a lot of people, when you don't understand the kind of like the application, you kind of find it very confusing. Now, first thing first, I want to talk about the vertical scaling. Vertical scaling means when you are building a campaign, you want to make sure that you keep all the learning within the same campaign and same ad set. So let's say, for example, if you are building an Advantage Plus sales campaign, it's doing well, okay? What most people do is when they try to scale, right, they kind of like, oh, this is already working. I see this ad working, and I want to kind of duplicate it into whatever new campaign and have a CBO or whatever and start scaling it. Usually this is where you break the whole thing. Because remember, when you break it up and like duplicate it into a new campaign, you actually let go the initial learning that you have accumulated in the original campaign. So what we usually do is we scale on the same campaign and same ad set, okay? But we scale, this is the first step of vertical scaling. We scale one step at a time. Usually each time, not more than 20 to 30%, really depending on the budget that you're spending right now. But the safest bet is 20 to 30%. And each scale, you must give it at least 3 to 7 days, ideally, if you can, 7 days. If you need to rush, then 3 to 4 days is fine, but you really need to closely monitor, because this is where things can get wrong, right? So yeah, but ideally 7 days. So let's say you scale for 20% from 100 to 120, for example, then we monitor for 7 days. What we usually do, aside from the cost per result and everything, we will look at the CTR, we will look at the CPM to make sure that everything is stable. And then if it's good, after 7 days, we can keep scaling until a point where you will usually reach, this is kind of quite interesting, but even if you have a big market, let's say United States, there will still be a budget ceiling whereby, for example, if you hit $500 daily spend, it's kind of like every time you push it, right, it will break. So this is the time where we start introducing the horizontal scaling, as in like, let's say now it's already 500. And then if we want to push it further, I want to spend more. What do? We kind of break it into multiple ad sets already, as in even multiple campaign. So now this is the ASC, right? The next thing I probably do is I'll probably break up another ad set with a new budget of maybe $200, targeting 25 to 34, which is one of the most best converting audience over there. So I will have another one, which is with all the exclusion applied and everything. I'll make sure that we minimize the overlapping to the minimum, and then we can still, kind of like scale. But this is horizontal, whereby we build multiple same campaign or, similar ad set, but different attribution. So I could have male and female. I could have different age group. Okay, I could have one for IG, one for Facebook, but all of them carry the same creative that has been really working well for our campaign. So that's our scaling strategy. But having said that, here's what I always like to recommend. Before you start talking about scaling, you need to make sure that the whole campaign that you have here is optimized. Now, what do you mean by optimized? Meaning it's already running at its optimum level, and you'll be asking, I'm already profitable from the campaign. How can it be not optimized? It's totally possible. I've seen a lot of campaign that is having like 5 ROAS, 6 ROAS, or even 10 ROAS, but they're having 0.5 CTR linking. You get what I mean? Meaning the creative itself is not really optimized, because our benchmark is 1%. Imagine if I'm able to introduce new creative and bring it to from 0.5% to 1. That means I double, the effectiveness of the creative, and with the same amount that I'm spending, I'm able to get double the amount of clicks through the ad that I'm actually using right now. Do you think you can potentially get double to add to cart, double the result, or even double the purchase? It's possible. I'm not saying that it's 100% gonna be that way. And then, yeah, so that's one point of optimization. Now, the other point of optimization is that, like you may have a lot of visits to the website, but eventually if you dive in, then you realize, like out of 100 people who lands on the website, only 5 of them added to cart. That means our usual benchmark is 10 to 20%. If I'm able to improve the landing page and get more people to add to cart, do you think you can potentially get more sales, all with the same amount of ad spend that you're having right now? So that's what we talk about, optimization. And it's totally possible. That's why my recommendation would be, do not scale a campaign before it's being optimized. So if you want to build an optimization plan, we can work together if that's already a point that you are at right now. So I do offer one-on-one Meta Ads coaching program where you and I would sit down, actually would first plan like a strategy. But eventually, the first thing I would do is I would dive into your campaign. I will look at the whole structure. I will recommend what are the optimization or even restructuring that needs to be done. And then we test one thing at a time. At the same time, we draw out a scaling plan on how do we want to take the campaign to the next level in a meaningful way. Like the other day, I was having a conversation with my client. They've been running a campaign that is targeting Switzerland and Austria for a long time. But then, like he was talking about like, how can we take it to the next level? What was the easiest way to do here is with the same campaign, we just duplicate into different country. But of course, there are certain applications that you need to do, make sure that, like we have a lot of exclusion in place, make sure that each of these ad sets or campaigns are not competing among each other. These are all the things that we would do. So we will meet once a week, okay? And then we will analyze the campaign and talk about optimization and scaling, okay? So aside from getting you results right away, this is also meant to help you really get a real grasp of Meta Ads optimization in the hope of one day you'll be able to do this on your own. So if that's something that you're looking for, then scan this QR code and I look forward to work with you. All right, so yes, then the next question is, I always get this question. You see, the other day I was just talking about, because a lot of people, if you are still in the old school of Meta Ads audience targeting, it's always about interest targeting, because a lot of people have a lot of faith in interest targeting. So what most advertisers did back then is they do a lot of testing on the interest targeting. So I've seen a lot of people do something like they break into, like, let's say 10 ad sets. Each one, they probably spend about $2 to $3 in each, right? And then after that, they start testing different detailed targeting. One is targeting online marketing, the other one targeting email marketing, the other one targeting online small business owners, and the other one targeting maybe page admins and stuff like that. And then after that, they put multiple ads in it, and then they spend very minimal, and they kind of like, they hoping that each so-called detailed targeting will get them different audiences. But here's the thing, right? For the fact is, in the past many years, Meta has been phasing out a lot of detailed targeting. They have been removing a lot of detailed targeting over the years. Now, whatever you are seeing here is really, I think it's not even 30% of whatever we used to have. It's crazy. Back then, we had a lot of crazy things, and it was really effective back then. But now, if you are still using this method, you are definitely not going to get yourselves anywhere, because first thing first, all these detailed targeting are just recommendations if you're aware. When you say recommendations, means Meta will and can, okay, reach people beyond whatever you're targeting over here. So that means, in a way, detailed targeting is meaningless. So what's really the best audience targeting strategy right now? In my opinion, it's your advertisement. See, I always like to tell people that Meta Ads is now intent-based advertising, which means the better Meta understand what you're selling or what you're offering, the better they will match your ad or your product to the people who are actively looking for it. So it really depends on what you sell. But if you're selling something that is quite common that a lot of people are selling, especially, you should really make sure that your ad is really expressing or kind of communicating about what you sell, about what you're offering, as clear as possible, so that first, when an audience see it, whether they like it or not, they will immediately make a decision whether this is something for me. And if it's not, then they will pass. So that will make sure that you're only getting clicks from qualified audiences. Okay, it's really important, because back then, at one point, a lot of people likes to use these kind of clickbaity advertisement whereby they have a video of a cat dropping from the sky, and out of sudden they talk about something else. Now, this is that kind of ad that you will get a lot of rubbish clicks, because these people will hook in because of the cat, not because of the bloody product that you're selling, man. Seriously. So it's a bad thing, because when you bring in more people that are not right for your product, you will actually nurture the wrong pixel events and everything. It's going to be like bad for your entire campaign. So yeah, you don't want to go into that kind of rabbit hole, because at one point, some of my clients even need to refresh and delete the old pixel and install a new one just to make sure that they start fresh. It's really can be that bad. So the best way here is make sure your ad is communicating the best in the simplest way to capture your audience in the most direct way. And that also allows the algorithm to learn more about what you're offering, because when more and more right people click on your ad, Meta would know. And as Meta understand your ad, they will also know what you sell, and they will be able to match your advertisement to people who are actively looking for it. How? Because there must be a lot of people who are selling something or running ads on Meta selling whatever you are selling. So Meta know, let's say for example, a guy has just clicked another advertisement looking for an iPhone but yet to purchase. And since now they know that you're also selling iPhone, they will show your advertisement to the audience while they are in the customer journey. So that is going to help you optimize your Meta ads audience targeting. So stop beating around the bush, looking for all these crazy ideas or hacks in terms of audience targeting. There is none. The easiest way here is to trust Meta, the algorithm, and really to make sure that you communicate the best, because that first, yes, you may get low CTR, but you get the right audience. And of course, when you have low CTR, then it's time for us to optimize the ad creative and stuff like that. We work on that, but really stop using those clickbaity advertisements. It's definitely going to hurt you. So if you've been running ads, you will have some questions like this. You want to have some meaningful conversation with a real expert who have been running ads for 10 odd years, then I would definitely want to invite you to join my one-on-one Meta ad support. So this is where you and I can work on a virtual format whereby you don't need to go on a Zoom call with me, but I'm just an email away. Imagine you have a campaign that has been doing all right or not all right. You want a person to immediately come in remotely to look at the entire campaign to tell you what's doing right, what's going on, so that you can know what to do next. This is where you can have me to come in to your campaign remotely, and I would dissect the entire campaign and will reply in a video, with all these walkthroughs, click through and everything, so that you know what are the things that you can potentially do differently to take your campaign to the next level. So on top of that, you can also ask me any questions. Like the other day, one of my clients just sent over their ad creative and copywriting before they launched the campaign to help me look through before we launch it. That would actually cut your learning curve by a lot. Seriously, you don't want to launch something that is pre-baked, like half-baked. Basically, this is where you and I can work really close together. You don't even need to jump on a Zoom call, but if you want, you have an option to purchase my one-on-one Zoom call at 50% the market rate. So if that's something that you're looking for, scan this QR code. You don't need to figure out Meta ads on your own. We can work together definitely. And you can use whatever that I've learned in the past 10 odd years as something that can help you really accelerate your Meta ads journey to the success. Okay, if that's something that you're looking for, then scan this QR code and I look forward to work with you. All right, that brings us to the end of this. I don't have more questions. I don't want to drag this anymore. So I guess we have a shorter one, but doesn't matter. Remember, if you need help, I'm always by your side. Just scan this QR code and, I look forward to work with you. With that, thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you next week. Have a good night. Have an awesome June ahead. I'll see you next week. Good night. Bye.